Hi everyone, welcome back to the More YouTube channel. It's Chris back with the match preview for Newcastle's upcoming game this weekend. A nice easy one back from an international break. No, I don't think so. Manchester City at home. Now, this is normally a game when Newcastle United get up for it and put a good performance in. But the way we've been playing off late, I'm really concerned about how Newcastle actually pitch up in this fixture and how they play. We're going to get stuck right into this in a minute, talk about the shape, talk about the lineup, talk about how we think Eddie Howe is going to line up, talk a little bit about Man City and their danger players, especially you know who. So just before we do, if it's the kind of thing you guys like, smash subscribe below, help get us to the next milestone, which is 12,000 subscribers. Got a great prize when we get there. I think we're within 70 subs of getting there. So smash the button, guys, and help get us there before Christmas would be lovely. That would be a great present for the channel to get there. All free content evermore, but there is a member option. If you want to support the channel, if you fancy a bit of cheeky evermore merch, click the button down there below. So let's get stuck in then. Manchester City, 5:30 kickoff, second in the Premier League against 14th. It sounds like I'm talking about Steve Bruce Newcastle United. No, I'm talking about Eddie Howe's Newcastle United. And it's very funny at the minute being a Newcastle fan. You can kind of feel a little bit of an uprising, a little bit of a division between the fan base. There's those who have doubts and concerns about the form of the team. This isn't just this season, it's the back end of last season as well. A little bit of concerns about whether the manager's grown stale, whether he's tactically being found out, whether he's got anything else in the locker to change it. Then you've got other fans who are completely devoted to Eddie Howe, swig the Kool-Aid by the gallon, lash out and attack anybody who attempts to even criticize or has doubts. You know, a football fan has the right to have a doubt about a player or a manager or an owner or anything to do with the football club. That's your God-given right as a football fan. You know, you pay your money for your ticket, you go to games, you support them through thick and thin. Wherever you are in the world, whether it's in the stadium or in your armchair, you've got a right to an opinion. There's a lot of fans that have an opinion on Newcastle United. I myself have an opinion as well. My opinion is that Eddie Howe needs to start doing something different, or we're just going to get the same output over and over again, which is a little bit of half-decent play and then a lot of bad play and results that don't go our way. So this game may not be the game that changes everything, but a good performance in this game could boost the confidence levels to go into fixtures that are a little bit more generous on the eye than this one. But let's get stuck into the lineup and how I think we're going to line up in this game. Now, this is how I think Eddie Howe is going to line us up. And this is your precursor warning. The siren, the klaxon is going off for the 5 at the back warning. Bang, here is the lineup. I think Eddie Howe is going to do this because there's no Dan Burn, a tear rolling down Eddie Howe's face. It'll freeze in the northeast winter at 5:30 on Saturday night. But Dan Burn is not here because he's suspended. He got a second yellow, which was a red card against Brentford in the last Premier League game because Eddie Howe didn't take him off when he should have took him off, or he would have had his trusted Lieutenant Burn, Lieutenant Dan, to play in this game. So I think he'll change the shape, and I think he'll go for a back 5, and he'll have Nick Pope in goal. I wouldn't play Nick Pope. I would play Ramsdale. I think Nick Pope has flapped way too much of things this season. I think he's terrible with his feet. He's like a giraffe on ice, and I would like my goalkeeper to be a little bit more composed, a little bit better with the ball at his feet, push the defence up 10 yards, ergo midfield, ergo strikers, all up 10 yards up the pitch. But that's not what Eddie Howe is going to do. He's going to go back to Nick Pope because that's what he always does. We'll have a back 5 of Malik Chow at the right-hand side. Of the back 3, I think Malik Chow has been amazing. He's probably one of the best signings we've had this summer. Him and Big Nick. He's quick, he's strong. This is the kind of game that I think he'll be relishing going up against Erling Haaland. Jamal Lascelles back in the day used to play well against Haaland for strength and pace because that's how Haaland plays. So between Botman and Chow, they should be relishing this challenge of dealing with the most informed centre-forward in the world right now in the shape of Erling Haaland. But Chow on the right-hand side, hopefully he'll be able to control Erling Haaland maybe if he runs at pace because Cher and Botman ain't going to catch him, but Chow will. Cher will play in the middle. That'll give us another angle as well in terms of being able to use the ball. So even though Nick Pope can't kick, if Fabian Cher's there, he can take it off and maybe spray a few passes out wide, maybe get some pace in behind Manchester City and send Botman to the left-hand side. Now, we need a much better game from the Botman than we saw against Brentford and West Ham. But again, these are the types of games where Sven Botman will turn up because he wants to show the world how good he is as a centre-half, a little bit like Isak used to do as well. Crap in certain games where you're playing against mid-table teams or teams in the bottom half, shows up against the big boys because that's what these players do. Are they in the shop window? I'm being sceptical or cynical there. I don't know. Maybe I am. So in the midfield, I think you'll go Jacob Murphy as a right wing back. Now, I think that's a good idea, especially dealing with the pace of Doku as well on their left-hand side. But you may not do that. You may bring in Kieran Trippier. But I would be petrified of Kieran Trippier's lack of pace against Jeremy Doku, who's brilliant at the moment. I think he's got 5 assists or something in the Premier League, 3 or 5 assists. He's electric and go inside, go outside. He's got a trick. He can score goals. He's just had a brace playing for Belgium in national football when they won 7-0. He's like Alan St-Maximin, but with an end product. That's what petrifies me about Jeremy Doku, and he's really in form. I wouldn't put Trippier anywhere near this guy. But again, Trippier is another player who splits opinion. Some people think he's the best right back that's ever played the game. He's a brilliant right back. He's been a great signing for Newcastle. But he's 35 years old, man. His legs are going. And he can't play against the most informed winger in the league. I'm sorry, he can't. So I'll play Jacob Murphy on the right wing back side. The left wing back side, Lewis Hall has to start this game. He has to start, whether it's a back 4 or whether it's a back 3 and a 5 in midfield. Lewis Hall has to start this game. I watch him for the under-21s. Pace, getting him down the pitch. He won a penalty for England as well. He's good. He can push them back. He can push Doku, not Doku. He can push their right side further back as well. Whether it's Shirky, whether it's who's the other guy? Scored loads of goals. Mamouche scored that hat-trick against us. Whoever it is on the right-hand side, he can push them back as well. In terms of defensive, they're not massively strong on the right-hand side of their team either. So Lewis Hall going forward could really petrify Manchester City. He has to play Lewis Hall, and then I think he'll play the midfield 3. I think he'll play Bruno Guimaraes, Sandro Tonali, and Joe Linton will come back into the team. Now, Joe Linton's been shit this season. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He's been shit. He loses the ball too much. Even the physicality side hasn't really been there. And towards the back end of last season, Joe Linton wasn't great either. He's living a charmed existence for me, walking in the starting 11s week in, week out against all shapes and sizes of teams. That's a big issue that I've got with Eddie Howe, that he doesn't change things with Joe Linton. But I think he'll probably be fit enough to play in this game. Ergo, he will play in this game. I would be more than happy to see either Jacob Ramsey or Lewis Miley come in. I think Lewis Miley has more physicality, even for a 19-year-old lad in this game, than Joe Linton would do. But I think Joe Linton will come back to the team. Excuse my sniffle. I've caught a bit of sniffle with this cold snap, probably from my kids. That's what happens when you have kids, guys. You get colds and flus. So I'm trying my best here. And up front, it'll be Anthony Gordon off Big Nick Voltemorda. And I think that's how we will line up. Now, what can Newcastle do with that lineup? Well, we could sit deep and frustrate Manchester City, and then we could try and come at them with pace, with Murphy's pace, with Hall in the overlap, with Anthony Gordon as well. When he shakes up his hip injury, maybe comes back and is the player that we want him to be, with Nick Voltemorda dropping deep and Gordon going past him. Maybe that could work really well for Newcastle. This tactic has worked for us well before. Think about Arsenal in the Carabao Cup semi-final. But this is a massively difficult game for us. Man City are in brilliant form. I think they've only lost one game in 11 or something like that. The last game that they played against Liverpool, full of cold here. So Doku and Haaland were all on the score sheet here. So they lined up. They had Donnarumma in goals, an excellent goalkeeper. James Trafford must have wished he'd signed for Newcastle. Would he have been in goal for us? Maybe, maybe not. And the back 4 was Nunez on the right-hand side. I don't think he's that good at right back, to be honest with you. Diaz, the centre-half, with Gvardiol, who are very good players. Not just good defensively, but dangerous in the attacking third as well when they get set pieces. O'Reilly, who's been a revelation at left back there as well. So he's an excellent player. He's got the England squad. Bernardo Silva in midfield with Gonzalez. Phil Foden looks really back to form as well. Dangerous runs from deep breaking the lines. Phil Foden, he's having an excellent season so far. And their front 3 in this game was Shirky, Doku, and the inform Erling Haaland, who's got something mad like 14 goals in 11 Premier League games and 19 goals in 15 games, all in all. But on the bench in this game as well, they had Mamouche on the bench. They had Rico Lewis on the bench, Oscar Bob on the bench as well. These and Reinders, these got such an unbelievable squad that they could roll the dice. They could play any one of these players, and it would be a dangerous 11 for Newcastle United to face. And looking at their team news, looking at our team news as well. So Manchester City, I think Kovacic is facing a long spell on the sidelines with an ankle and heel injury. Rodri's obviously a doubt with his fitness as well, probably the best number 6 in world football. So looking at that, that's probably how I think they're going to line up really in terms of their team against us. Unbelievable side and so much danger as well. The big threats for me probably come from the side of Doku, I would say. Doku running whoever we've got it right, wing back, whether it be Murphy or Trippier. Erling Haaland, again, looking to push on. That's why the back 3 is probably a good idea, because I think either one of those 3 can deal with some kind of element of Erling Haaland, whether it be his strength, with Botman and Cher can deal with that strength, that aerial battle as well. Whether it's the pace, I think Malik Chow has the pace to deal with Haaland if he's running, he's on the shoulder. So I think between those back three, they have all the attributes to deal with Erling Haaland. Shirky and Doku tucking inside may cause more trouble for them. But I think with Malik Chow's pace at the back, I would definitely be telling him to mark Haaland for those on-the-shoulder runs that he makes. There's no doubt about it at all. But this is a really, really difficult game for Newcastle United. What do we want to see from Newcastle in this game? Well, I want to see football. We want to see effort. We want to see desire. We want to see aggression. We want to see them pressing to win the ball back. If they have to sit deep in a low block and let City come onto them, then so be it. That's probably what a back five does for you. But when we get the ball, use the ball better. Don't lose the ball. Joe Linton in particular, who loses the ball non-stop. We need big performances from Sandro Tonali, from Bruno Guimaraes, from Anthony Gordon, from Nick Voltemada. We need big performances from them. The back three have to be solid, have to show all of their quality and attributes to shut this lot out. That's what we need to do to win this game, to get a good result, even get a draw in this game. We need everybody bang at it. Do I think we'll get a win? No. Do I think we'll get a draw? Maybe. It's most likely we'll probably lose this game narrowly, maybe 2-1. Man City maybe, get the goal in front and then maybe just sit back a little bit and try and conserve a bit of energy. But I think what Newcastle need to take from this game is they have to have a better performance. They have to be able to hang with Man City for large parts of this game. They have to show discipline. They have to show resolve, and they have to show an ability to trust not just themselves but the manager as well, the manager's tactics that he puts in place, because we're not seeing that from the lads week in, week out. Now we're not seeing that. We're seeing a lack of concentration. We're seeing misplaced passes. We're seeing poor shape. We're seeing inaction from this Newcastle United. No intensity, zip, zero, nada. And that's not what we used to do. We used to be in the faces of these guys, making them lose the ball, the crowd behind us, the roar, all that stuff. And that'll all be there pre-game. The war flags will be out, the crowd will be bouncing, the atmosphere will be electric. But the lads have got to deliver on the pitch, or that stadium will get very quiet very quickly. And then everyone will be slagging off the fans. Oh, fucking hell, why did you lost the game because you weren't singing? That's not the case. You would have lost the game because you weren't good enough. And that's the truth of the matter at the minute when Newcastle United. We're not good enough. We haven't been good enough in so many games. But I think the lads will step up in this game, and I think they will put in a great performance in this game, and they'll show a lot more quality. Now, that's not the question for me. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that they'll all be up for it. Sandro Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, Gordon, Joe Linton, Nick Voltemada, Botman, Cher. I don't doubt that these players won't be up for this game. What I doubt is coming back and doing it against Burnley and doing it against Spurs and doing it against Everton. That's what I doubt. That's what I have my concerns about, that they don't do it. They don't raise their game to the levels that they do against Manchester City when they play against the teams that you would fancy them more to beat. But I think that they'll put in a great effort. They'll put in a great shift. We'll all be talking about how well they played after the game, but I think the probably most likely result in this game is that we get narrowly beat 2-1 by a massively informed Manchester City with the best centre-forward on the planet playing for them right now. I'd love a draw, and I think Newcastle are capable of a draw, but all the stars have to align for that, and that is a lot to ask in the Premier League these days. But let me know in the comments below what you think about the lineup that I went for there, that I think Eddie will go for. If it was me personally, I would play a 4-2-3-1. I would play Ramsdale and goal. I'd have Trippier right back, Chow and Botman centre-half, Hall left back. I would have a double pivot midfield of Bruno Guimaraes and Sandro Tonali. And then I would have Jacob Murphy, Harvey Barnes, Anthony Gordon with Nick Voltemada up front. That would be my team. That's how I'd set my team up. Get on the front foot, get in City's face, make them defend, get a goal or two up front, and then change it and drop back and sit in if you want to do that. But I don't think Eddie Howe will do that. I think he'll go for a cautious five at the back. He's looking for a draw in this game. He wants a positive result. A draw would be a positive result for Newcastle, despite the fact we could do with some more wins on the board. And then they'll look to take that confidence into games that they feel that they've got more chance of winning. But I think we'll lose this game 2-1 personally. I'll be back with a post-match straight after the game, hopefully without the sniffles. So make sure you tune in for that, guys. Remember to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos, including the live post-match analysis, where hopefully I'm talking about a hard-earned point for Newcastle United or even a win for Newcastle United. But it's more likely, I think I'm probably going to be right with a 2 1 defeat. But let me know below what you think about the lineup and the result, and who is your danger man to look out for City as well. Is it Haaland? Is it Doku? Is it somebody else? Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe. I'm off to blow my nose because it's cold. It's kicking my ass. Thanks for watching. Have a belter. We'll see you later. Cheers.
Heroes celebrate. They have done it.